Hey, this is a Goldsmith live here from Upland offices here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Part of Genesis Week, part of Genesis Live event, sitting down with Pavlo. Pavlo is the head of development for Upland, and kind of excited to be able to have this interview. People have asked this question all the time. What's going on with the Upland dev team? Can we hear from an Upland developer? We got questions. We want to get answers, and obviously, this is our opportunity to get some of those. So I will be keeping my eyes on just a little bit on comments if you are dropping them in along the way. We do have some questions that are already structured, already put together. We've gone through and make sure Pablo's got some answers for us. But of course, first and foremost, to kind of put this out there, Pablo is the head of development here for Upland. He's been working with the team for just about 1,000,000 years.
Since the beginning.
Since the very beginning, exactly. So one of the early employees of Upland, helping to bring the architecture of Upland out. And we got a lot of how are things developed, how do things come out, we get to talk about. So first and foremost, I want to thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to thank you for your hard work because, again, the game of Upland, very much of it has traveled through you. I know you were previously a product developer, product lead.
Product leads and head of product delivery or development, whatever. So I'll introduce myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Jump ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pavel. I'm head of product development in Upland. I'm the first employee in Upland.
The first?
Yeah.
I'm like number one. Because I worked for a startup, and I was like number 92, and then there was like 3,000 employees. It's like, that little piece of merit. But number one, that's a huge number.
Well, yeah. So I've been here since the beginning. Mm-hmm. It all started back in 2018. I very accidentally met Idan. It's a very long story for another stream.
Yeah.
So I met Idan. He had this crazy idea of a blockchain game on EOS, metaverse, monopoly, all these words. They all triggered me because back then I was doing my first steps in crypto, so to say. I EOS as a blockchain and as a coin. It was a part of my portfolio, so I did very good due diligence on EOS. And then you're done with this idea, EOS. I'm like, okay, that's
So you already had the experience when Adon says, "I'm looking on building this on top of EOS." You're like, that's a chain I want to be on.
Yeah. Sort of I had experience with the coin, the EOS itself, right, as a part of my portfolio. And then, when you double click on everything, that's the whole infrastructure of EOS. It's back then, well, now as well, it was positioned as a Ethereum killer. We getting there.
I was gonna say it's different. It's a very different ecosystem.
Exactly.
Gas fees and all that makes a big difference.
It's we won't build Upland on Ethereum.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
Now.
That 5% fee would now be a 90% fee every time you turn around.
There's no way if Ethereum would have worked for us. So back in 2018. Got acquainted with Adan, and I quickly assembled a team of 4. Actually, 4 together with me. It was 2 developers and 1 QA. It's first prototypes. First half a year, it was hardcore research and development. EOS back then, it was and now as well. It was a kind of wild beast. In sense there is no documentation, it's all new, it's literally hey, how we do that? There is no Stack Overflow solutions. There is nothing.
You had to write the roadmap.
It's pretty much new technology. And it's literally we go to Telegram on different EOS groups, start asking questions. Hey guys, how you do this? How you do that? And that's how it worked. We had and we have a very talented team of talented developers. So that's how it all started. So from prototype to what was the maximum? I think it's 150,000 monthly.
About 125 to 150, depending on the month. This is Genesis month. We'll get more than that. But 125 to 150-ish UAW. Unique active wallets on a monthly basis. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm quite happy, to
Yeah.
go through this path from
Yeah.
from a crazy idea to working product, and sitting here now.
Well,
at
and,
Genesis Week.
oh, but that's awesome. Yeah, and the one thing I want to put in there is like you came in and kind of we talked about 2018. That's pretty nascent, pretty early on as far as the building on the blockchain. What was your blockchain experience before coming over to Upland?
It's only just like crypto trading
Yeah.
steps.
Yep.
Only researching on white papers, etc. I had the technical background before that. Like I previously worked in a different startup.
And that wasn't just more traditional programming.
Yeah. I was a product manager over there. It was a quite interesting startup. That's where I got this startup mindset, sort of this crazy environment.
I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Like I said, coming out of a startup myself previously, it's that energy that you just don't get on a mature company.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's very different from this like outsourcing companies or just regular products. Like this startup, like where I get this from. This startup mindset is a previous project. It was a marketplace of games, which was acting as a merchant of record for game developers. So I've been there so I started as a product manager, and I became director of operations. But basically, I was doing everything there from QA to literally researching tax legislations on different countries.
Oh, the compliance is
all the compliance, because that was the core product, like the merchant of record thing. So that's where it came from. Taking responsibility. If we don't have a tax consultant, then I need to research it myself. So that was my previous background. Before that, I also worked on in IT projects, so to say. But that was my first startup, and Upland is my first startup where it all started from zero ground.
You start with ground zero on your side, and that means that a lot of Upland, and I'll talk a little bit about the Adon effect as well, but a lot of Upland, as far as the program is concerned, the direction that's gone is your baby.
Our baby. I think
we work collaboratively. We work together.
It was a collaborative exercise. I got very lucky with the teams that I have found. Like in Ukraine, it started again in 2018. Started with 4 developers, and with the time, team grew, and it's a collective effort. And I want to, if somebody is watching, like, hey guys.
There's 90 right now, but that's going to keep creeping. It's one of those effects on Twitter where you put the call out and it takes a while before it hits people's streams and they know it's there. But absolutely, it's a lot of it's going to be later, forever, posterity's sake. 5 years down the road, people are going to be watching interviews. So you're good.
All right.
So no nerves, nothing to be nervous about. But I will jump back here. Here we go. I'll break some nerves. How about this? 2 questions. All right. So the first one is, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
There you go.
Purple.
There you go.
I like purple color.
And then favorite cereal?
Cereal.
Yeah. Breakfast cereal.
Breakfast. Yeah. This chocolate balls.
Chocolate balls
with milk.
There you go. Chocolate balls with milk. That makes that easy. But again, to jump into some some more serious questions on this. I mean, again, one thing I really like to put out here is as you mentioned, you kind of framed it in a pretty decent way. Is you were the first developer with Upland and kind of build that out. Your title has changed a little bit from like a product lead or project manager into the head of development. Has that changed at all as far as your responsibilities, the type of things that you've had to do with the team?
Well, yeah, for sure, it changed just from the perspective of the size of the team. So we started with 4 guys. I was managing a team of 4. And now it's, we grew up. There's a separate backend team, front-end team, QA team, support team, project managers team. And like all these people, they're kind of split it on different projects.
So siloed?
Yeah, kind of. And it's all kind of in parallel. And, my my responsibility back then. My
You had one team.
responsibility, it was me and my team.
Yep.
Now it's me and my teams.
And then you have your
Right.
own team managers that you
Right.
work with
Yeah.
you and
And they
spearhead
have
those teams.
Yeah. So it's basically the size. And now, of course, I delegate much more to team leads. Vova, Sasha, Dima. Hello.
But learning to delegate on
Yeah.
team leads, that's a different skill than being your own project lead,
Yeah.
running one silo, and
Yeah.
now you have to run what?
Yeah. Like we are at the point we're at the point where they need to delegate already to their sub leads or whatever we call them.
And so without jumping down a rabbit hole too far, ballpark, how many developers are you guys working with now?
Right now it's around 40.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's not a small development team.
Yeah. It's that was a crazy journey. So, and all these people, it's like all went through me, interviewing, hiring. Like there was this hiring streak at some point. It's
well, yeah, I mean, I remember 2021, I think the fall, your development team like doubled in 2 days, and then it doubled again.
Yeah. That was a crazy times. Like none of us had experience with with such a growth. Like neither I nor Vidan, like nobody. And that's mistakes, success stories, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on what's going on here. But again, and on that line, you talk about the development and the development strategy. One thing that Upland's done really well, and again, some people will have their own thoughts on it, is the fact that you guys are built on MVP or agile, where you're coming from that mentality that you start with the first version that works, and then you make that version better and better and add features and grow.
Yeah.
What's that come from as far as your personal background, or is it something that's coming from a Don, or is it something that just works for the team?
Well, it comes, it's just a logical step. Like there is no other option rather than go.
Otherwise, you wait 5 years for a new feature.
Exactly. If we want to have all nice to haves in this release, okay, let's do it a year.
Yeah.
Or let's split it only to must haves. I'm talking in sense of features.
Yeah, absolutely.
Split it, chop off the nice to haves.
Yeah.
Leave only what's really matters for users. What kind of gives them some value. So to say, sometimes with a compromise in the UX, sometimes compromise, like sometimes sometimes there are bugs or whatever. But at least the goal is to deliver. The goal is to like everybody's expecting for new stuff. I know that the community is super excited with upcoming features and like making them wait for years for something. It's not an option. So MVP is. It's pretty much everything what we do. Like the process is we take the idea, I pull it out from Idan's head, we spec it out together. Like initially we spec out like a end game sort of, right? But then we look on it once again and okay, this can go, this should.
So like cars, for example, you might start out and say, hey, we want these cars to race. Hey, we want these cars to be able to drive between cities, but that's not what we get up front.
Yep, exactly. Cars is a good example. We started with just Unity. We started with NFTs.
Yes.
Then Unity app came in. Then travel came in. Then what else we have?
We have travel between cities, and then we're gonna have all those other features that are built in cars. Like again, whether they change or not, there was that discussion long term that now we're gonna have fueling and
fueling,
damages and
Uber kind of things, transportation of cargo. That's all that is coming, in small.
But one step at a time.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's always a kind of game of this. There is a kind of project management triangle. The scope, resources, and time. That's you always juggle with people, scope, and trying to figure out.
Like in Agile, they call it resources, right? When you talk about that,
you
talk about what do you have for resources versus what is your end goal versus what can I do today? What's actually a deliverable? So it's the same three-legged stool.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just on a bigger scale now, and with the crazy technologies that we're working on, because it's not a regular application. Right? A regular application is front end, back end,
Yeah.
right? Here it's front end, back end, and blockchain.
Yeah.
And
you've been writing that rule book because it just wasn't out there in the same way. Nobody had a mobile first game that was right into the blockchain.
Yep. What I'm proud about is that we pretty much pioneered in some technological stuff, like the way our wallet works. Smart, we call it smart client at some point.
Yeah, smart client or keyless wallet.
Yeah, keyless wallet. Like that was quite a research and development. Back like I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I remember wallets in 2018, 2017. People forgetting their passcodes.
I think it's the same today, to be honest. Like, I use MetaMask.
Yep.
And it's just really it's not for mass market.
And then your client locked, right? Because now that client is locked to that device, and it's not easy to switch. And with Upland, again, if I'm on vacation, I'm halfway across the world, I can log into a different computer and I can do my thing. I can go and do my daily login. I can do a raise. You can't do that in a lot of other cases. I can't pick up someone else's cell phone and say, "Oh, I forgot to check my account."
Yep, that's kudos to our development.
There you go. Kudos to yourself, of course. Yeah.
Yep.
So looking back, obviously, you're kind of segueing pretty naturally there. You mentioned some projects that you're pretty proud of, the way you guys kind of pioneered that. But as far as individual products, whether it's cars or whatever else on the list, what is one project that you're really proud of? Just seeing it start from nothing, watching it grow, watching it develop.
Yeah. Well, one product that we've delivered that I'm proud of is the FIFA integration.
We had.
Like that was a crazy ride. Why? Because like we had very limited time.
Oh yeah,
we didn't knew there was certain.
I think if I remember right, like you guys had less than 2 months from the deal getting inked to it actually hitting ground.
Exactly, and that was like a special task force in Upland. Back then. So like at some point, I done like, okay, we
gotta do this.
Good to go. Let's do it.
Yeah,
and basically all teams are working on different stuff right now, and then. And at one point we have a deadline, like very limited one, and so we kind of reshuffled all resources, reshuffled all people. We created like separate, we split it work on the chunks. Each chunk was gone to its appropriate team. And literally all development team was working on one project, but in parallel on different kind of parts of this project. And like the orchestration of this delivery, that was crazy.
So did you like siloing inside of that? Because I mean, you have different team leads on different aspects.
So different team leads on different aspects. Like one team lead on the back end, one team lead on the front end, one team lead on the QA side. Each has their own teams. Then each team, like back end team, was split into 3 or 4 teams just for FIFA. So we basically created 3 to 5 teams.
So it became its own company for a little bit.
Each with its own project, which at the end, like all these projects should come together into one point. So like this is that was orchestration of this. It was crazy.
Cool. You developed a whole bunch of technologies that we didn't have in Upland first. You had the passes, the structure of passes, how those work. That was new. Eventually you had the spotlights, right? That was something that was new. How did you make video integration into the NFT? That was something new. And as far as I knew, a lot of that was still new technology when that was happening. Like you had some things like Top Shots before, but there wasn't a lot of other NFTs that were doing similar things, codified in the same way.
With videos, I don't think there
were Top Shots at the time.
NBA Top, there was NBA Top Shots, and I think that's it. Pretty much, and it was, we got at some point we got lucky. At some point, we got professional.
Well, I was gonna say you got lucky, but you also like grounded out. You made it happen.
It's 5% of luck. The rest
95
is
sweat and perseverance making it happen. So I did want to check, and go back on that. And again, at this point, looking forward, what are you looking forward to as far as something moving forward? Not to give secrets away, something that's in the back burner, but what do you really want to see, Pavel, yourself? What do you want to see come into the game of Upland? What do you want to develop and build?
Dark theme.
So I'll do an aside here. Do you know that I'm familiar with you got interviewed like just text wise by Gabi in 2020, and he said, "What are you looking forward to most in development?" And you said Dark Theme, and that was 4 years ago. And again, I know there's some technical restraints there.
It's just it's a matter of resources and political will.
Political. Well, I mean, this thing is there's so many other shiny pennies that are like, oh, we're gonna work with this partnership. Oh, we're gonna do this. We want to make cars go. Oh, by the way, now we've got planes coming. You ready for that? So this is so much else to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a matter of resources. Like you asking about my personal
thing. You don't have to speak as a head of development. This is you as a person who happens to develop.
Well, first one, no jokes. Dark Theme is something I dreaming about. Another thing I was really, and I already did some mocks on design mocks is the game, maybe familiar with the game GeoGuessr.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there's some people in the upland community who they have their side communities about GeoGuessr.
I myself found myself at some point watching YouTube videos of people streaming GeoGuessr thing, and I really want to build something like that in upland. Maybe somehow merge the treasure hunts with this GeoGuessr mechanic. I feel like it's gonna be a boom, and it's an opportunity to bring up community from GeoGuessr somehow.
That would be a great crossover.
Yeah. Again, this is just my thoughts.
Oh no, I do want to put that out here clearly. Again, I'm asking you for your personal. I always separate the. This is not necessarily on Upland's roadmap at this point. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean that it won't come, but it does mean that this is something you personally enjoy and would like to see. Be able to share.
And basically UX improvements. Because I feel the pain sometimes of our users when I play myself. What I want to do is literally do some experimental modes, clock in settings, which will not clock, sorry, but menu. Where we just stick some stuff like showing a map on a higher zoom level. I feel like that's gonna bring Upland to a new level, because right now you only can look on the map from a small zoom level.
Yes,
which is you don't see the full, like there are some neighborhoods in Upland which you want really zoom out.
You want to press a button and say, look at this only. So you get this neighborhood, you look at this neighborhood, and maybe you've got a different view that you can do.
That's another thing I was dreaming about.
And again, I do have to put out there, it is a bit of a dream in that you do have so much focus and effort you have to put into the priorities that exist, because there's a lot of them. Kind of putting this idea of siloing, you've got all these different projects that are all happening at the same time, and you have to watch and make sure they're all headed in one direction.
That's pretty much the thing. Schedule them out, sometimes juggle. Okay, let's put this on pause. My guys know what that means. Like when we're putting something on pause, that's a bit like development team is like, oh.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, you're working on one thing, and all of a sudden a partnership comes up, and now you're like, hey guys, you've been doing a great job. Everything you're doing is great. We're not giving up on what you're working on. We just have to do it later.
Exactly. That's exactly how it's happening. Hey guys, I love you. Sorry for that happening.
Thank you, team, so much. And again, a great thing that you mentioned from the beginning is like a lot of this stuff is, the team working together. Obviously, we do see that Adon is very much in the development side. What's it like working together and having, him work with you as far as priorities and making those things all happen?
Working with Adon is, it's pretty, if you look from a side on how we like prioritize roadmap or planning something, you might think that we're fighting. But we're not. It's just Ukrainian and Israeli talking about roadmap. Trying to everybody
different culturally a little bit, but
no, we're actually very close.
Culture,
kind of temper is close. Again, it's not fighting. It's just
sure.
We're
passionate.
Passionate.
Yeah,
that's probably the right thing. But working with Adon, he's a very experienced product person, and genuinely I learning from him, like his tactical and strategical vision of the product. Like sometimes he comes in with some idea or project or whatever. I'm at the beginning, I'm skeptic, like why do we do that? Why, like what it brings? And then I realize, okay, this is like in chess game, when you, I don't want to bore
no,
you
good.
to this, but
So you had an interview with Gavi. Again, I don't know if you remember the whole deal of it. I remember you said I just got into chess. My ELO's 1200, and I was like, that's impressive.
It's 1300 now.
Oh, it's there. You go.
Yeah, but so like in chess game, when you make a move, it serves several
purposes.
Yeah. So it kind of develops the piece, it kind of attacks another piece, or protects another piece, and like in this sense, sometimes Sedan is coming with such great moves, which at the same time they kind of deliver something for users. They solve some user problem. At the same time, it's becoming a building block for future upcoming features or delivers that I don't even know yet about. But
I like that like, so you have so much of your focus on making things happen, and again taking it from a vision to an actuality, to something that people can actually tangibly touch. And I love that you don't even know what the be all end all is all the time.
Well, that's my job to know what the end goal, to pull it out from a done, and to make it like a nice chess strategy game. That's sometimes how I think about this delivery process in Upland. Juggling with people, juggling with resources and features and scope. And at the end of the day, it's literally like a chessboard where you have to make right moves which will contribute to upcoming moves in the future.
And I love how you bring up the chess thing with the I'm putting this up and maybe it's defensive and maybe it's going to set me up to potentially either force a check or limit movements for stalemate, whatever the case is. I like that you kind of put it out the way, because there are multiple priorities. We've got things like partnerships that come in. We've got long-term things on the roadmap. We've got UI UX improvements. How do those competing, I guess maybe not compete, maybe they all work together. How do those priorities tend to work together, especially when we have partnerships coming in that we don't always know about, you don't always know about until they're inked?
Well, who said that? Plans are nothing, planning is everything.
Okay, and, plans are nothing, planning is everything.
Churchill or whatever. So like once in a while, like once in 2 or 3 months, we gather all together with leadership team, and like everybody dumps what's on their mind in sense of upcoming partnerships. Somebody will just say, okay, we might have this partnership. It's not doesn't mean that we should start working on it right now, but keep in mind that at some point gonna be alarm. We need to start.
When you talk about like road mapping, you mean?
Yeah. So we put it on the backlogs, and we kind of planning out 2 or 3 months up front. Again, planning is nothing. Plans are nothing. Planning is everything. Like whatever planned in 3 months, maybe 50% of that is
actually going to be
actually delivered. The rest is something that came in out of nowhere.
And I mean, you do have people who kind of have this, a little bit of skepticism about the fact that we don't run a strong roadmap anymore that's out to the public that says we're doing this. And then part of that is you really can't say we're going to do this in 14 months because you got so many other things you're working on.
It's impossible. Like even half year, impossible. 3 months, 2-3 months is something where at least I find myself comfortable with trying to think it through, trying to plan through resources on what we're working on right now, who from the guys from developers is freeing up soon. So it starts like from 2-week horizon, then 1 month horizon, then 2, and then 3 months horizon.
So once, for example, once the cars get blank feature, then those guys get reallocated for another portion of cars, or planes. Exactly.
Or to Spark staking, or whatever there's going to be. Like community might come up with some, oh my god, we need this, because community is a stakeholder.
Of course.
And it happens from time to time as well.
I mean,
it's happening always. Like something is always going to be unexpected. So just need to be
I mean,
mentally prepared.
because I mentioned you working with the Don, but again, you do have multiple stakeholders, right? So I know that you could have from the community side, hey, we really need to worry about this UI UX issue, and again, that's constantly working. I'm assuming that's what the big team meetings help address, right?
Yep. That's Again, I wish team was bigger so we can address more UI, UX, and whatever other issues are there. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
At least we delivering.
At least you're continuing to deliver, right?
Yeah.
So and again, I kind of want to put this out there. You already brought this up, and I appreciate you doing so right in the beginning. Is with the fact that we started, or I say we, Upland. I feel like I'm part of the community, but we as a community started with developers that were primarily in Ukraine. I know that's you built the team out there, but now we've seen some of that expand. Right? We have a team in Brazil, and we have team members all over the world. What's that like with that geographical sense of trying to make everything work together, time zones and everything else?
Mainly dev team is still in let's say Europe.
Yeah, Europe.
In Ukraine. Some guys are still in Ukraine. Some guys moved out to Europe. We do have Brazil team, but it's small. More focused. It's small and more focused on one project, which is cars. So in sense of multiple geographic locations, it's just for me the only inconvenience that I have to wake up like at 6 a.m. To sync up with my Ukrainian team. But in general, like it's all about me covering different time zones. So
are you West Coast time zone now?
Yeah, in Florida.
East Coast time zone. Well, I mean, the East Coast is easier with Europe. I found that 6-hour difference, I can make that work.
Yeah, I have decent overlap
with both teams, right?
Yeah, pretty much with both. So it's a
because the Brazil team is an hour off, right?
Yep. So we can sync up with, and Brazil team have a overlap with Ukrainian team, and so it works. We had some experiments whether we want to completely make team independent, or we want to to be to make it like a one big team of Brazilians and Ukrainians. So I think one big team works better now. So
absolutely,
keep moving like that.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. I'm seeing that we kind of jumped around and cleaned up some questions ahead, which I really like. I want to ask this big broad question. I want to ask a big broad question because we're not out of time, but we're getting there. I want to give you some time to do that. So big broad question. We said little small priorities. What do you foresee? What do you look at your crystal ball? You've been with the team. I want to say congratulations because 5-year birthday. The 5-year birthday of actual
6.
What?
Almost 6.
Almost 6. But the 5-year birthday of Upland actually being live, of the people being able to buy and trade properties. That we say that's 2019. That is June 6th. 6th.
First property somewhere there.
Like June 6th is the first property minted in Upland. So 2019. So 5th birthday, almost 6th birthday for you, but 5th birthday for the game of Upland. 5 years in the future. Crystal ball. I want you to still with the team, so hopefully you are. What are you looking at? What do you think is going to be some of the changes? What are we going to see different about Upland? Again, whether it's a change in UI, whether that's integrations of other technologies.
UI will definitely change. I'm not sure I can.
Wow, that's the best way to answer. No, and I appreciate that. Like, if you guys have plans that you want to keep under wraps, feel free to say, hey.
Yeah, we do have plans. We do have plans.
Goldsmith, that's a great question. I just can't answer it.
UI will change definitely in 5 years. My thoughts, like we should really cover, like should go global, or go home, as they say. Like
continue to expand globally.
Continue expanding. I really want like city openings and country openings to be managed more by some third-party platforms. Again, that's not something that is on roadmap. And just my thoughts about this.
And like I said, I appreciate your own thoughts. I know you work with a Don to try to streamline them towards a certain direction, right?
So I feel like in the future, it's like even city parsing, like opening of those parcels of the city. It's gonna be community / third-party developers driven.
Oh,
I envision like some AI tools which will, those places for which we don't have the data. I envision those tools to, some tools that AI tools that will create those parcels, and some third-party developers will, I don't know, provide this data to us. We will put it on the map. I don't know, they will have some revenue share or whatever, like something like that, something crazy like that, crazy from today's standpoint. And of course, the team, I envision,
continue to expand.
Yeah, hundreds of Upland employees.
I love that. Like you had 40 developers 5 years on the road. You went from 4 to 40 in 5 years. So 40 to 200 would be. It sounds crazy, but that would be amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy run.
So, I'm glad you do mention the AI, because that was one of the questions I kind of had couched in the back here. We've had changes in development over the last 6 years that you've been doing things here. What type of opportunities do you see AI in both programming and some of the art concepts, but mostly AI in programming? How do you see that changing things, or how is that already changing things for Upland?
Yeah, I can say how it already changed.
Yeah.
Like, well, for sure, like our design team, they have AI as an actual part, as a solid part of their processes, of their pipeline.
It's been built in,
yeah. So they, I know design team does that pretty good. For development team, it's a bit on a personal level for now.
As a tool, right?
As a tool,
but not like, part of the actual process.
It's not a part of the actual process for now. But we're literally having these discussions like right now.
How can we integrate this?
Like the easiest way where we can stick it into is like the product development, the project management team, where when we write specs, when we spec it out, where we write tests, etc. AI is something that we start using again, not as a part, not as a established process. For now, we're sort of testing it,
seeing how it works.
Seeing how it works. On a personal level, it's a crazy booster. It's just
it's a productivity booster, right?
A productivity booster, Like literally, I don't know. Yesterday, like we sat down with Dan, and there was some question about some smart contract, let's say, and certain question for which I would have should have got a developer's opinion. So instead of that, I just do copy paste to ChatGPT. I'm like, ChatGPT, can we do this with this code? ChatGPT, because this function, blah blah, and that's it. Like 2 minutes, and the problem is solved. So obviously, it's a productivity boost on the personal level. For development team, particularly for developers, making it a part of the process for now, it's a bit challenging. Just because Upland itself it's a wild beast. It's a multi-layered architecture, crazy one.
Well, like we said,
ChatGPT will just lay down as it was. Like, by the way, the moment when ChatGPT recently they had shutdown, that was exactly the moment where me and our architect Vladimir, we were pushing ChatGPT hard to give us some answers.
So you're saying you crashed it?
I think we crashed it.
Didn't you? I mean, there was this speculation that Upland crashed some other system. I remember years ago, where it was like there was a lot of demand on one of the releases that something crashed.
There was like sometimes something happening which affects like EOS infrastructure and EOS prices sometimes, etc. RAM prices, I mean. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes it's hilarious mistakes which lead to to a massive how you call it, the butterfly effect.
I mean, so the code's not clean, or you accidentally pull more than you think you're going to, or
but I mean that some mistakes on Upland scale. Like, where's the biggest project on EOS?
Of course,
and on our scale, some mistake can lead to some
on all of EOS.
Like I see we did something and EOS just like, oh my god, what's happening?
Why it's just a city release. You're fine.
So Upland is big in its own niche, and do affect
the other ecosystem of EOS. Yeah.
That's for sure.
I love it. Yeah, I guess other small priority here, moving forward as we look at continuing to develop and build with Upland. You said we've the AI tools. You get in that direction, head in that direction. And I guess kind of along with that, you said you're working with other priorities and partnerships coming in. What's that been like? Because I know development, the layer 2 dev thing, how is that affecting your team, and how do you work with that team with trying to work with layer 2 developers? And how can somebody who's sitting there at home who has a big development company who wants to work with Upland, how could they integrate or work with you guys?
Well, hackathons.
Yeah,
that's one thing that
good entry.
That I think we should keep pushing for that, for hackathons, and maybe for themed hackathons. I call it, like, if we want to solve particular problem, we as Upland, for you third-party developers, to solve particular problem for users. I think we should kind of start more focusing on such kind of hackathons. And of course, again, it's about resources, our resources, providing more APIs for users. That's what we need to do. And it's just a matter of resources.
Right. And I think we had 45 minutes, so I do want to hit two things real quick. The one big one I want to hit with you is it's kind of turning things over to you a little bit. I mean, if you were wanted to say something, because I want to thank you, and I do appreciate it. This is the first real on-camera interview. Say hi, everybody. Yeah, but that you've done. So this is not a face everyone's seen, but you are one, like you said, you are employee one, or it's sometimes called in a startup employee zero. You're the first person that they went outside of the founding team and said, we need this person to make this company happen. So again, on the scale of a development team, you're employee zero. You're the first employee that was hired to make this company happen. So congratulations for where everything's come. But what do you want to say? What do you want to say to people as far as this is your first time getting a chance to talk to the community, and what you've been doing all these years?
Well, thank you, community, for patience. First of all,
that's a good one. Hey, because sometimes it takes patience.
Yeah, pretty much. At the early stages, I've been a little bit engaged with community, so maybe I know some old.
I think like there were some people who had, like you said, you had that interview with Gabi, which was text based.
Yeah, we had some communication with Hacker.
Guy,
like I recall early stages of Apex. Apex World,
two different projects.
So,
you're good. You're
sorry.
Good. No, it's been a long 6 years. For even the players, it's been a long several years.
No, but in general, thank you for believing in us. That's first I recall that first property that has been minted. And then following purchases of our NFT tokens, I recall, like, oh my god, they bought this. It's happening. People are interested, and it's happening. They buying these NFTs, and like first few sales, I recall like those excitement. And there was like Telegram channel with. I recall Telegram channel from 5 people, 13, 12.
Just watching stuff grow.
Yeah, but now it's whatever 15,000 users.
The Telegram or the what?
On Telegram, and then then we moved to Discord.
Discord was larger than it is now. We're at 35,000 members on Discord right now. But
I didn't even know this number.
Oh, you don't know this number?
No.
I just keep my eyes on it. No, we got 35,000 on Discord. But keep in mind, we moved a lot of that conversation into the game of Upland. That's been kind of the focus. So, I mean, there's a lot more people who are active in that community and that engagement. A lot of the announcements were moved in game. So we see some of that where people don't have to be in Discord to be part of that conversation.
So, thanks, community, for being a stakeholder, first of all. And, honest stakeholder. Because each feature we deliver, I go to technical bugs channel first to see that.
I'm glad you bring this up. I didn't want to have this conversation with you. Go ahead.
I read my channels, the channels I should be reading. But the feedback that we see right away, it's something that warms our hearts.
And is there a way people can be more constructive with that criticism? Or not criticism, but that input. Is Tech Bugs a great place to continue doing so?
Tech bugs, yes, for sure. Our support team is, handling it.
Yep.
Support team is doing great job as well.
Mm.
Hey, support team, love you. Yeah. So
Perfect. And we're going to dock this ship here with saying again, thank you so much. I'll give you one last thank you so much and goodbye here. I do want to thank you more than anything because, again, this is the first opportunity I've got a chance to talk to you. I know I've talked about getting a hold of the dev team for years. So thank you for the opportunity and time. And anything else you want to say? Say thank you, guys.
thank you. Bye.
It's been amazing. Thank you. Take care. And again, keep your eyes out for more today, broadcasting from the Upland Studios. More Cheese will be on very shortly. We'll see the guys from the UpX podcast here later in the day. Too Stupid to Win and TML. We'll be speaking to Dirk later in the day. And of course, More Cheese and Helly up next very shortly. So thank you guys for watching and looking forward to what More Cheese has to say with Helly. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, geez. Not my equipment, not my technology.
Bye, guys.